Hi, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado, and welcome to another one of my photography talks. Today I want to talk about gear, specifically measurement gear. This is a Sekonic X1 DigiPro model L518. I never even heard of this one. This one I couldn't even figure out where the controls were. You have to pull this thing down to access some of the controls, and they're kind of hidden in there. But this has a white dome so that it simulates the 3D element of a face. And the way you use this is you put this in the same light as the subject. So if you're photographing me in this light, you point this at the camera with this in the same light that my face is in, and you push the button and you get a reading. And it says 60 at almost f2, not quite, with 400 speed film. And you can change all those parameters. You can change it to different speed films. But the point, and you can change even the shutter speed. You can make it a 30th. What would it be at a 30th? Well, at a 30th, it would be a 2.8 almost. Just a little, couple notches short of a 2.8. So you probably could shoot a 2.8 and be fine with it. It's so close. The point is, the readout is giving you specifics about what the exact exposure is. And there's time for Sunny 16, but you can pick these up for $50 to $100, and it might be the most beneficial piece of equipment you ever buy, only because you are learning how to use a meter and to see light. So that the next time you come here and you say, well, if I had to photograph you and I didn't know what the exposure is, what would I get? I don't know. Try shooting at a 60 f2. I think there's plenty of light in here on me that I probably, with 400 speed film, can trust that a 60 f2 can shoot in most places. If you really want to be sure, shoot at 60 at a 1.4 as well. Get a second frame and shoot it even with more exposure than the f2. But you should be able to guess that, and this can help you learn to see that and to learn to guess that. But the point is, this is a teaching tool. It tells you at the moment what is the light, but it also teaches you to remember, every time I go there, I start to see 60 at f2 inside. Every time I go outside, I tend to see 250 at f8 in the cloudy weather. You start to know what light does. You can point this upward. You can hook a flash cord into here, and you can put it into flash mode, and when you press the button, it actually fires your flashes, and it'll tell you what the exposure is at the person subject location based on where your lights are. Some of them don't have a flash setting. Some of them are only ambient light, the light in the room, the light outside, but a lot of them have both. And if you can find one with both, it's really great to be able to pop your flashes off right before you do a setup to make sure what the exposure should be. And then at the same time, put it back into ambient mode. You can take this outside and you can shoot a portrait inside your car. You can shoot a portrait outside and learn what those exposures are. Hey, I'm shooting outside. I want to shoot at a 500 at f11 in the sun. I'm inside the car. I'm more like f4. Hey, you'll get to know those exposures. Those exposures become part of you because the more you watch it, the more you start to notice. It's very repetitive. Light doesn't change all that much. The same light that we're shooting in today, they've been shooting in for hundreds of years. And the quality of light on a day in January in this year is the same as January 200 years ago. And there's a consistency. And when you get to know it, you can stop worrying that, are you off? Are you not getting enough light? You can learn to think of it as it's very consistent. And it's always going to work. Back at the newspaper, I remember people coming up to me after an assignment and saying, do you think any of those will come out? And I would say they always come out. And they did, because I know how to expose a negative, and you get to know, if you shoot me at 60 f2 right now, there's no way it won't come out. The word come out is always an interesting kind of a thing. It's almost like there's some magic happens behind the scene to make this thing emerge. But unless the film didn't run through the camera right, or I didn't put film in the camera, chances are, you can bet it's going to come out. Because unless the camera had a malfunction, which is a very rare thing too, everything comes out. And you can trust it. And you can learn to see light. And you can use Sunny 16 without that meter. You can use what you learn from that meter as kind of your guide. And like I said, my typical inside thing is always shoot at a 60 wide open or a 30th wide open, depending on what I think it looks like for light. If it's really dim, shoot at a 15th or an 8th. And you still might have a thin negative, but I probably don't want to shoot much lower than an 1/8 of a second. So maybe it's not a good place to be taking pictures. All right, that's today's photography talk. Do you have a light meter? Minolta makes a good one called a 3F. Other Sekonic brand ones. There's a lot of different ones out there, and I think they're all good and they're all simple, and the better ones have both the flash and the ambient, and you certainly can get a lot of use out of it, and you don't have to pay a lot of money for them, and you can learn a lot. Because remember, we don't photograph stuff, we photograph the light on stuff, and this measures that light. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. We'll talk some more tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.